Hello, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, people. And yeah, we are doing a video this time. I'm going to be doing a few more videos than streams this week. As I posted on the community page, match previews will be pre-recorded, not streamed anymore, because we're talking about the same thing. Unless something comes up or we've got a guest on, there's not really any point doing a match preview because we're going to be chatting the same thing all the time. So I'm going to keep it more short and concise. However, with match reactions, they're going to stay the exact same. Also, the show of Alfie will be tomorrow, not today, due to just Alfie being busy today. But it'll be straight after the Arsenal-Newcastle game, so that should be interesting. But yeah, just a video today, and we're talking West Ham transfer targets. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. We're trying to hit 1K this year, people. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So, bit of news to do with like transfer targets and stuff like that. I don't do videos on like just any random rumors, stuff that comes from like, I don't know, Telly Football or Football Insider and all that nonsense. But semi-reliable and reliable sources, that's what we do. That's what we do around here. Let's discuss the first one. Evan Ferguson and Hwang Hee-Chan have been linked to West Ham. The Hwang Hee-Chan one's a bit more confusing because obviously he plays on the left. Well, I guess it's not confusing because of the Bowen injury, and I guess if this was a loan, I guess it makes sense, but I wouldn't know why Wolves would want to sell him or loan him. If Gary O'Neill was still at Wolves, for example, this would make sense because he wasn't playing. I don't know why he wasn't playing. I don't know the situation. I don't know whether he was injured, but I'm going to assume you just left him out for whatever reason. But maybe there's something different. Maybe it wasn't to do with Gary O'Neill and stuff like that, because ever since the new manager Vitor Pereira's come in, I've seen him play a lot more often, but obviously he can play across the front three. Someone we were linked with around the David Moyes times, around I want to say lockdown. I think it was at Salzburg or Leipzig. It was one of the Red Bull clubs or some shit, but I think it might have been in the Bundesliga. I think we were linked with him then. So this seems like very David Sullivan-ish. But Evan Ferguson as well. I've talked about this before. We've been linked with him for about 2 months now. And Evan Ferguson, this wouldn't make any sense. The Evan Ferguson to West Ham doesn't make any bit of sense. The reason why this makes no bit of sense is for a few reasons. As a club like West Ham, we shouldn't be trying to get a striker from Brighton on loan to give them playing time. And let's say Evan Ferguson hits the ground running and he actually gets service at this club and he actually plays and he scores a few goals, the Lingard effect, as you will. That only raises his price. We wouldn't have a buy option, and we would probably be overpaying for someone that is, don't get me wrong, young, that we could resell, but at risk of, flopping, as all West Ham strikers do. And it's not because of them most of the time. But also, what's the point of raising their price just so even then, let's say João Pedro leaves. They get another striker and Evan Ferguson's the other replacement for João Pedro. It just benefits his development for Brighton and Hove Albion. That's all it does. That's all it does is help him develop at Brighton. And then they have a good striker, and we've just pretty much developed him for him. Yes, it will benefit us for 6 months, but then what do we do? Then what do we do 6 months after that? What do we do 6 months after that? Because I don't really understand getting someone from Brighton, for example, to then develop them into just nothing. Because let's say, for example, Ferguson gets 10 goals, 10 assists, or whatever. 10 goals, 10 assists. But this is the problem. It only benefits Brighton, not us. Because we're not battling for anything this season. We're not. We're not battling for shit. We're not battling fuck all. We've got fuck all to battle for. So is there really any point? Not really. Not really. With the Hwang Hee-Chan one, it only makes sense if it's on loan, for example. But that is that one as well. They're not the only two players we've been linked with as well. I've just seen some news about Lopetegui, but it's from TalkSport, so I'm not really going to take it into account. That's why I was stuttering a bit. Just give me a sec, people, because there's another, obviously another article, and this is, by the way, the Telegraph is Matt Law. Matt Law reported this as well. Obviously, he reports a lot on Chelsea. I don't know why he reports a lot on Chelsea because he's a Villa fan. He's a Villa fan, but um, West Ham are interested in Dewsbury Hall and Chukwuemeka. Now, let's talk about these two, for example. Pete, now, obviously, I know a lot of Chelsea fans through YouTube, so a lot of people have been asking me, what do I think? And would I take these players? I'd take Dewsbury Hall. I'd take Dewsbury Hall. The reason why I like Dewsbury Hall, I've liked Dewsbury Hall before Leicester got relegated and he shined in the Championship. He's a good player. He's a good player, decent number 8, a box-to-box midfielder that has got, he's not necessarily like the most energetic or anything. He's got a decent engine though, but he controls the game. He keeps it ticking. Keeps it ticking. I'm not saying they're the same, like in terms of quality, but in terms of profile, it's like Mark Noble a bit. It's Mark Noble a bit, keeps it ticking. I'm saying in terms of profile, not in terms of fucking quality. I think Dewsbury was a better midfielder than Noble. However, Noble was quite underrated. With Dewsbury Hall, he really does well in the 4-3-3 as well, like getting advanced midfield positions, making third man runs and stuff like that as well. You want him more further up the pitch than you do deeper, in my opinion. In my opinion, I feel like obviously he can like get the ball in the first phase of play, pass it, and then make the run, sort of thing. It's like a pass and go type midfielder. He can create, but he's not creative. You know what I mean? Like he can create, but that's secondary. That's not one of his main attributes. With Cardi Chukwuemeka, the reason why this one makes less sense, I do like the player. I've always rated Cardi Chukwuemeka ever since he broke through as a young player coming through at Aston Villa. I remember the impact against Manchester United where him and Coutinho combined to make it 2-2 around the time where Coutinho made his debut for Aston Villa under Gerrard. I think it was against Man United when they had Ralph Rangnick and it was at Villa Park. I think some people will know which game I'm talking about. But Chukwuemeka, obviously, he scored against us last season. Done Souček like a kipper and scored. Hasn't been the same since because he got injured in that game. And we haven't seen him play many games for Chelsea since under 2 different managers. Makes sense that he's going to leave now. I don't know why they didn't cash it in the summer, but maybe that's for something different. I don't know. I think he's a good player. My problem is injuries. I think it's a very West Ham signing because it's a promising young player that gets injured a lot. I believe that he should leave Chelsea. I just don't think we're the best club for him. And in fact, I would take him. But again, is it a player that we need? I'm not too sure. Like he could play deeper in midfield, but he is an 8-10 / player. At his best, I do rate him though. I do rate him, but I'm trying to think what type of club he should go to. Like maybe a Crystal Palace. I'm not too sure. Like I'm just thinking system wise. I'm thinking what club would get the best out of him at this time. Don't get me wrong. If we got Cardi Chukwuemeka, I would like it on a permanent deal. Again, like the Brighton one with Chelsea. Obviously, I know it's not like the biggest rivalry in the world, but I don't consider Chelsea. I don't. What I mean is like, I don't want us to just benefit a player doing well from Chelsea to West Ham on loan just so they can sell him to another club. If you're going to get him on loan, it has to be with a buy option that you can trigger, in my opinion, or with an obligation to buy that you're paying for the money in the summer rather than in January because of FFP and PSR issues and stuff like that as well. So it only makes sense if you do the deal like that. If not, then it's terrible business, in my opinion. But there's that as well. And there is some news to do with Lopetegui, but everyone's tagging me now because of TalkSport and stuff like that as well. But I'm just looking through it. It's just TalkSport. It's just TalkSport. I've seen nothing to do with Lopetegui, but there's some news about Tim Steidten and Lopetegui, which I won't bring up, but people know the headline is Tim Steiden's been kicked from the training ground again. And I think that's what spurred on this ongoing talks about Lopetegui's future. And the thing is with that, he's been like I understood why Moyes kicked Steiden out. Like looking back, because like you want to just get the season done. Cool, he's looking for other managers. I understand why you find that disrespectful, but he is just doing their job. And I think people made a bigger situation out of what it is. Lopetegui's just got here. It's January now. And the problem now is, let's say Lopetegui was to stay. Which I still think he's going to stay because the only people that are reporting for him to get sacked is TalkSport. and it looks like Graham Potter's coming in. But we will talk about that maybe another time. I don't know. If there's more news tonight, you'll see a stream tonight. However, with this situation, is a bit difficult. It's a bit difficult because you just got here. Let's say you stay. Tim Steidten is really integral to, was meant to be really integral to transfers due to his role and stuff. Obviously, he doesn't pick the manager, unfortunately, because Sullivan's a prick. But director of football are meant to watch the training ground. They're meant to look at the training ground to improve the squad. They're meant to oversee that. This is the first time we've had a director of football at this club. This is the first time. Rob Newman was a chief scout. This is a director of football. First director of football, technical director that we've actually had at West Ham. But the role is a bit skewed at West Ham because Sullivan's a prick and Lopetegui's a prick. So Steidten isn't going to be able to do his job properly. Now, he's going to be, the power is going to be taken off him due to transfers and stuff, which, judging by the transfer targets, that seems quite likely. But it's why I said don't spend another penny under this manager if he's going to stay. Now, I don't understand you kicking a director of football off the training pitch when you are the problem. You are the problem. It's not even the players at this point. Yes, the players have made mistakes. Yes, Kudus had a shit game last game, and that was all on him. Alvarez has had shit games that have been all on him. Mavropanos has had shit games that have been all on him. I have my critiques of other players like Thomas Suchek, for example. I have my critiques of Paquetá, for example, as well. I have my critiques of Max Kilman, critiques of Fabianski, critiques of Areola. We could go through it all. But if everyone has decreased, it's because of you. And I think we've gone through that a million times. But listen, we're going to end the video there because I think I need to do more research into what the Lopetegui situation is saying. But we might have an emergency stream. It's a bit of a difficult time for me to stream right now. I'm recording this at 20 to 4, and I'm going to eat, watch the West Ham youth game, watch the Monday Night Football. So if there is a stream, it's going to be at 10 p.m. It's going to be at 10 p.m. But listen, just keep an eye out on the community page. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me, and email for the inquiries. I'll see you guys later. Good.